गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Okay, Moola Vidya Nirasa. Today I am speaking on Moola Vidya Nirasa. The 12th passage is Samaptaha. Dvadasha Khandaha Samaptaha Prathamadhyaye. Dvadasha Khandaha Samaptaha Trayodasha Khandam Arabhe. Okay, let me begin the 13th passage after completing the 12th passage in the first chapter. 13th. Tasya Vishayoyam. The topic of the 13th passage is Vade Vakyopanyasa Sthalam. If Anubhava and Anubhava based Yukti, if Anubhava and Anubhava based Yukti is to be presented in the beginning during discussion, then what is the place of authoritative text? When are we supposed to quote? Then do you mean the quotation has no place at all? In the discussion only discuss based upon Anubhava, only present the logical arguments based upon Anubhava and no place for Anubhava at all, you mean? This is the question that arises. Yadi, this is a problem. If I speak in English, people say we don't understand English, we want Indian language. If I speak in Indian language, some people say we can't understand, we want in English. So let me speak little in English, little in Sanskrit. So Sanskrit being a whole India language, I think everybody, I hope they understand. Now what language is a problem now? Any language is a problem. There are some people who feel that they are left out. So anyway, so let me add little bit of Sanskrit, a few words of that and few words of this. So kinchit Sanskrutepi vadami tena sarvepi avagaccheyu asmadiyaah bharatiyaah api avagaccheyuh tasya artha bodhastu bhavati iti kritva kinchit Sanskrutepi uchyate trayodasha khande ayam prashnaha udeti. So this is the question that arises. Yadi yukta anubhavaha eva prastotavyaha अनुभवानुसारी युक्तिच युक्तिश्च प्रस्तोतव्या चेत् तर्हि वाक्योपन्यासस्य स्थानं किं? वाक्योपन्यासः कदा कार्यः अथवा न वा कार्यः इति विचार्यः. वाक्योपन्यासः कार्यो न वा? वाक्योदाहरणं कर्तव्यं न वा? Kevalam should we quote a text or not, or only discuss Anubhava and Anubhava based arguments alone? So no place for Vakyam. So Vakyasya sthanam kim? Iti prashnaha udeti. Tasya uttaram diyate Sri Charanaihi, and Swamiji replies to this question. Nirnite tu vada vishaye pramana vakyopannyasaha ubhayavadi sammataha samanjasa syat. Nirnite tu vada vishaye, when the topic is established, when the topic is determined. Topic means the idea is determined. Yavadu vishayetu vada vishayetu nirnite sati. When that vada vishaya, the topic of contention is determined, then after the determination at the end, it is a right time to bring the quotation. Okay, to bring the authoritative text, and the text which is acceptable to both. Both means the opponent and then the proponent, both people. So vada vishayetu nirnite sati nirnayat anantarameva pramana vakyam shastra vakyasya udaharanam कीदृशं वाक्यं तदपि उभयवादि सम्मतः. उभयवादि सम्मतं वाक्यं तत्र उदाहर्तव्यम् इति श्रीचरणानाम् अभिप्रायः. At the end of once you established a topic with the help of Anubhava and also logic based upon Anubhava, that means the topic is determined, then it is the right time to bring a Shastra quotation. The question comes, Yadyapi Vijñate Tatve Shatropadesho Vyartaha Eva Kritya Bhavat. vyartah eva krutyabhavat, then isn't it waste, isn't it redundant? Once the topic is determined with the help of anubhava and anubhavanusari tarka, the yukti based upon anubhava and anubhava, with the help of these two things alone, if the truth is decided, then what is the role of quotation? You mean quote? Then if you quote at the end, after everything is understood, after the fact is understood, if you bring the quotation, of what use is it? Somebody may ask, what is the use? If we are to quote it at that time, yadi tattvanishchayat param anubhavena anubhavodaharanena anubhavanusari vakya yuktyacha tatve nirnite sati tada vakyopanyasena kim va prayojanam setsyati shastropadesho vyartah na bhavati kim shastrodaharanam shastravakyodaharanam vyarthameva bhavati kutah vyartham krutyabhava tada va udahrutam vakyam kim va nutanam sadhayati vishayastu spashtaha nischaya abhuteva nischayat param kim karoti vakyam agatya. What will the sentence do? After truth is determined, what will the quotation do? Quotation has no role to play. Tasya sthanameva nasti iti prushte uttarayati. So he replies to this, avijñate cha tasmin purvokta mudraya nishpalaha tad upanyasah. See, if tattva is not determined, if truth is not determined, simply quoting a text is waste. If it is already determined without the help of without quoting any Shastra statement, just by referring to, appealing to Anubhava and also presenting arguments based upon Anubhava, reasoning based upon Anubhava, if truth is determined, then also it is waste. So either way, bringing in the Shastra Vakya, bringing in the authoritative text is a waste, isn't it? This is the doubt. Avijñate cha tasmin. If tattve jñate sati vakyopanyasah vyarthaha nishprayojanaha. Avijñate yadi yuktya cha anubhavena cha anubhava vicharena anubhava parikshanena yuktya cha tattva nirnayo najataschet punarapi vakyodaharanena kim prayojanam avijñate cha tasmin purvokta mudraya purvokta vadeva nishpalaha tadupanyasah vakyopanyasah tadapi nishprayojana eva bhavati iti ubhayatapi shastravakyopanyasah niravakasha eva. Either way, the Shastra quotation has no place. Okay. Either way, Shastra Vakyasya nirupayogitvam. Either way, it is a waste. So, what is the place? Okay. When the truth is, I'm just my translation. I am reading my translation. When the truth is already ascertained, teaching the holy text or bringing the holy text is in vain, is waste. Bringing an authoritative text or a Shastra Vakyam is in vain because it serves no purpose. Because what will you do? Already truth is determined. Tattvastu nischaya nischitayameva. Tattvam tu purvaveva nischitam yuktya anubhavena cha. Tarhi Shastravakyam agatya kim va karishyati kim avashishyate. Shastravakyam agatya kim setsyati kim sadhayishyati. Because it serves no purpose. Tasya kim natasya kim api prayojanam. If it is not yet ascertained, yadi tattvam nanirnitam, quoting them is again waste. Punarapi vyartaha eva. Tasyopanyasah tattve अनिश्चिते सति केन अनिश्चिते अनुभव विचारेण युक्त्या च तत्वे अनिश्चिते वाक्योदाहरणं व्यर्थम निश्चिते च व्यर्थम. Thus like before. Thus, citing the holy text, in either case, ubhayathapi vyarthameva bhavati. Okay, to this Swamiji replies, yet tasyapi prayojanamasti. Ante tatvanirnayat param vakyopanyasena asti prayojanam. There is a purpose. Some important purpose is achieved by quoting the authoritative text at the end of discussion, the discussion in which the truth is already determined with the help of reasoning based upon anubhava and also appealing to anubhava. Anubhava paramarshena anubhavanusari yuktyacha tatve nischite sati यदि वाक्यम उदाह्रियते तस्यापि प्रयोजनमस्ति. किं वा तत् प्रयोजनं? व्हाट इज दैट प्रयोजनम् इति पृष्टे तथापि वादान्ते तदुपन्यासेन प्रतिवादिनाहं जितः इत्याकारकोद्वेगस्य वादिनिपरिहारः प्रयोजनं भविष्यति. This is a very new argument Swamiji brought it. We have never heard it before. Yam yukti kutrajitapi purvam shastreshu nashruta. कुत्रचिदपि शास्त्रेषु न पठिता न दृष्टा अदृष्टपूर्वः न दृष्टचरः श्रीचरणै नूतनतया आनीतम्. आदौ वक्ष्यामि तत् किं का सा युक्तिः, अनन्तरं वक्ष्यामि श्रीचरणैरपि कुतश्चित् लब्धेयं युक्तिः, कस्माच्चित् लब्धा इयं युक्तिः. अस्तु, आदौ युक्तिः का आदौ वदामि, अनन्तरं कारणं किम् आदौ वदामि, अनन्तरं तस्य मूलं वक्ष्यामि. Okay, first let me say the reason why we should quote at this stage alone. What purpose will it serve? First I shall say. Later, how did Swamiji get this argument? Get this reply? I'll tell you later. It is not there in the book. I'll know it since I'll tell you later. Tathapi vedante tadupanyasena prativadina hanjitaha. So, when you get defeated, what he says is convincing. See, this is the problem. He is directly referring to appealing to anubhava and also bringing the reasoning based upon anubhava. So it is so convincing, I am unable to reject it. It is so convincing, I am unable to reject at this phase. But I want to defeat him and I want to win. But unfortunately, I am won over by his argument. So you feel little disturbed. Your ego is hurt that you got defeated by somebody, though you are unable to refute what he says. What he says is convincing and unable to refute, and it is acceptable, but still I feel offended because somebody comes out correct and my argument, my point is defeated. The defeating hurts you. There is a sense of defeat, a small element of humiliation, being defeated. There is a humiliation that my argument got defeated, and what he says is really convincing. If others' argument is convincing and my argument lacks that conviction, I get defeated. Then this defeating hurts a person. Then what is the solution? What is the solution? Okay. If you get defeated, what is the solution? Grahana. Swamiji says, this is the time exactly the quotation comes to his rescue. This is the condition in which the quotation comes to rescue. And he says, if a quotation is brought, tada vadante, at the end of the discussion when the topic is cleared and convinced, it is established and you are convinced. If you bring the Shastra quotation at this stage, अस्मिन् सन्दर्भे यदि प्रमाणवाक्यम् आनीयते चेत् तस्यापि प्रयोजनमस्ति. किं वा तत् प्रयोजनम् इत्युक्ते प्रतिवादिना अहं जितः इति मनःखेदः, मनसि उद्वेगो यो जातः. The mind felt disturbed, the humiliation. You don't feel the humiliation that you are defeated, and what he and others view is convincing, and my view is defective. My view and my arguments are defective, and his argument and his view, his stand is convincing, is right and convincing. So you feel that is defeated, the sense of defeat, which creates a manasika udvegaha. Aham parajitoham tena prativadinah pakshaha eva yukti yuktam bhati. Prativadinah pakshaha eva yukti yuktaha bhati tadeva अंगीकार्यः भाति मम पक्षस्तु दोषभूयिष्ठस्त्वात् पराजितः इति मनसि यो उद्वेगः जायते स उद्वेगः न जायते यदि वाक्यमुदाह्रियते चेत् तत्त्वनिश्चयात् परं तत्त्वनिश्चयात् युक्त्या च अनुभवेन च तत्त्वे निश्चिते सति यदि यदि श्रुतिवाक्यमानीयते तदैव तदैव तस्य उद्वेगः विनश्यति उद्वेगः अपनीयते इति that the feeling that I am defeated by my opponent, this feeling that I am defeated, the feeling of defeatedness, the humiliation will go away if you bring a quotation. See, this is what Swamiji says. Ityakaraka udvegasya vadini pariharaha prayojanam bhavishyati. This I am defeated, this idea will go away. The humiliation will be removed, will go away. Yasmat, because Yasmat Nayam Pakshaha Prativadika Pola Kalpitaha Kastarhi Shrityanugruhito Abhiyuktaihi Purvataraischa Parigruhiha iti Ato Nastyudvega Karanam iti Manas Samadhanam Samupajayate. Swamiji says, see, it is when it is quoted at the end of the discussion, after the truth is determined, if it is quoted, it helps the debater to feel, not to feel disturbed, to help him to recover from his humiliation. Okay, helps him to come out of from his humiliation. To recover from humiliation. How does it do? Katham tat syat iti prishte, I am defeated by opponent, since this view, idea or argument is not invented by my opponent. See, I am defeated no doubt by my opponent, but I should remember I am not defeated by him. See, not invented by my opponent, but only blessed by the Shruti. See, I am not defeated by my opponent. So, he also is a human being like me. His brain is also like me. So, it is no human being. It is not a intelligence that is defeating my argument, my view. It is not a human intelligence. It is not a human brain. I am not defeated by another human brain, because we think that it is another person who is defeating me. No, it is not an individual defeating it. It is the Shruti that is defeating me. It is the Shruti that is defeating me. It is the Vedantic Vakya that is defeating me. This person is simply quoting the Upanishadic Vakya. He is presenting the Upanishadic view, Upanishad doctrine. He is simply presenting Upanishadic teaching. It is not his own teaching. It is not his own argument, his own idea. It is not his own philosophy, because no human being can say this, because it is beyond the very Jiva Bhava. This truth is beyond Jiva Bhava. So, everybody has to get it from Shruti alone. Shruti is beyond a human mind. No human mind can discover the truth. Human mind needs to be revealed. The truth through the Upanishad, it reveals to the human mind. It gives a hint and you get it. The hint has to come from Vedanta only. So Vedanta is an Apaurusheya. It is of non-human origin. It is authorless. It doesn't belong to anybody. It is Ishvara's statement. Ishvara's means it is a self-revelation of the truth. Truth is revealing itself. Whether you call, see in Hinduism, whether God reveals or rishis discover or the truth itself reveals. All these three statements mean the same. Whether God reveals or the truth itself manifests or you discover, all these three are way of talking. They are only way of presenting, but all the three mean the same. So therefore, God revealing to one person, this is the European concept. Those Abrahamic religions concept is God revealed means a given person reveals, and he reveals to only one prophet, only one person reveals. Anybody can receive it. And a revealer is not a given individual. One who reveals is not an individual. You may call God or you may call the truth itself is revealing to me. Okay? Either the truth itself is opening itself, manifesting itself, or God reveals. Either way you talk it. It is not an individual's job. No individual can do that. Because individual means the mind which is limited by time, space and relationship. Here we have to learn how to transcend desha, kala, sambandha, all the relationships. Therefore, it is not revelation of a given person. It is not a human intelligence, human intellect that has discovered. Generally, when we discuss with a person, we think that we are discussing as two human beings. Two people are discussing. Therefore, who is defeated, who wins, and who is defeated? We think that a person is defeated, a person is winning. We say in Vedanta, no person is defeated, no person is winning. It is a narrow human mind is defeated by the truth itself, truth which is beyond human mind. So what Vedanta says is the truth itself, or the truth knower is God himself, Ishvara himself, Paramatma. The truth itself is revealing. So we should feel blessed that the truth is revealing. Truth has occurred to me. The revelation taken place and it is rising, and understanding is dawning upon me. Understanding dawns upon me. So I should feel blessed because it is the truth itself is blessing me. The truth is Ishvara. Ishvara is truth. God is truth, truth is God. They are two different words, two different names. The truth itself is blessing me by expressing itself, by manifesting in my heart. When my mind becomes pure, I come to recognize it. Therefore, the recognition is something takes place when the mind is pure, when your mind is rightly tuned towards the truth. Therefore, it is no individual's discovery. So the greatness, the credit goes neither to a person who discovers nor to the person who reveals, because there is no person who reveals. There is no person who discovers, because in the very discovery of the truth, your individuality merges in it, dissolves in it. Your individuality dissolves as the moment you discover it. Therefore, it is no more an individual's discovery. And the one who is teaching is also not an individual. It is the Shruti taking the Guru as a means, using the Guru as a what you say that, an instrument. As an instrument, the truth is manifesting. Therefore, it is not an individual defeating another individual. It is not one individual winning over another individual, gaining victory in the debate. Therefore, nobody is winning nobody. This is the thing. If you understand, because the truth is nobody's property. No single individual can own that I have discovered it, I invented it. Nobody invents it. Discovery, even in discovery, it is not yours. It is Ishvara's blessing that you got it. Everybody gets it. Everybody is capable of getting. Only you have to prepare your mind, only you have to search for it. Search in a proper way. If you search for it in a proper way, you will also get it. Anybody gets it. It's meant for everybody. It's meant for everybody to discover. Because it is yourself. It is everybody's self. So nobody is denied. And nobody can claim any special credit either for discovering or for revealing others, helping others. No Guru can claim that it is his speciality, that it is his privilege, or he alone has the capacity, he alone owns it to help others to teach. Okay? No Guru can claim, no Shishya can feel inferior that, oh, I am defeated. Therefore, the truth is universal. We are all instruments in it. Nobody can claim any extra credit for us, for himself. No person can claim any extra credit for himself. Truth is universal. Its revelation is universal. Discovery is universal. Only you have to prepare your mind to receive that revelation in you. Okay. Therefore, in our context, in our Shastras, no person defeats another person. The debate is not between two people. It is between two standpoints. Your mind takes a standpoint while discussing. The other person, debater in the other person, other debater, he also takes one standpoint, and from that standpoint he tries to talk, he tries to share his idea, tries to help you to discover, tries to point out, to give a hint. He gives a hint, then with the help of a hint you discover it, you become convinced. Okay? In these things, no individual needs a credit. Therefore, we say Sampradaya. We give credit to Sampradaya. We give credit to Ishvara. Ishvara means the truth. Truth reveals itself. Guru is an instrument, and I am not unique in discovering. See, truth is universal. Truth or Ishvara is willing to be discovered by anybody and everybody. Is more enthusiastic to be discovered. Paramatma is over enthusiastic to be discovered, to be understood by all jivas. Therefore, whoever reveals, it is Ishvara alone or truth alone. Whether you call Ishvara or the truth, it is the same. So Ishvara or the truth is willing to reveal. Why willing to reveal? Just like fire is hot and sun is shining, no individual credit. Sun shines spontaneously, naturally. Similarly, the truth reveals itself. Ishvara does anugraha, natural. And Guru is an instrument. Guru can't take any credit for himself. If he takes individual credit, then he is unfit to be a Guru. I tell you. If a Guru takes credit for revealing, for teaching, for helping others, then he is unfit, because still he retains his individuality. That means he has not yet become an instrument of revealing the truth. He hasn't yet become an instrument. He has to dissolve as an individual. You become one with the cosmos, one with Paramatma. You allow yourself as a medium. You allow yourself to be a medium for the truth to express through you. Okay? Such a person who allows himself to be a medium, doesn't take any credit, doesn't impose anything on anybody. He just remains a neutral instrument, and the truth expresses through him. Okay? Therefore, neither Guru can take credit, nor Shishya can feel inferior. I have learnt from others, so I didn't know, I misunderstood. The misunderstanding is not an individual defect, it is the state of mind. If your mind is in a particular condition, it fails to understand because of its limitations, its defects. When you transcend the defects, when you purify your mind and learn the right teaching, your mind is placed in a right angle, correct angle, instantly the discovery takes place. The dawn of knowledge takes place. Therefore, you also as an individual cannot blame yourself that he doesn't know the truth. And if a person knows the truth, he cannot take any extra credit that he alone knows the truth. Truth is truth, waiting to be discovered, and everybody is willing. Whoever is willing can see it. Of course, you have to prepare your mind without any prejudice, ego, hatred. Without all that, if you are a simple-hearted person, truth is for you. Truth is meant for you. Okay? The discovery takes place. So in this way, at the end, if you bring the quotations, after discussing, nobody will worry. Nobody will blame you. And it is so useful, so helpful, because we understand that the truth is coming from Upanishad, which is an Apaurushaya Pramanam, authorless text. Non-authored text it is coming. That means a universal fact is coming on its own. It is revealing itself. So the credit goes to the truth itself. Neither to you, nor to me, nor to any Guru, nor to any disciple. All the credit of revealing the truth goes to the truth itself. Call Ishvara, you may call Ishvara God or anything. The truth himself deserves the credit, because the truth itself wants to be discovered. so spontaneous, so loving to be discovered. Okay. Therefore, no individual credit to anybody. I am never defeated. Nobody is ever defeated. There is no such thing called defeat in truth. Truth is to be understood. It's not an intellectual conviction. It is not a challenging an intellect. It is not a question of defeating a given individual, given person. There is no person. Persons are dissolved. Individuality is transcended to know the truth. So the very teaching of the truth, the very learning of the truth, the very searching for the truth is humility. Out of humility, you need lot of humility, humbleness, that the truth is nobody's. Truth belongs to nobody. Our truth is universal to all. You have to remove your uniqueness, either good or bad. You have to be just a common truth which is in everybody's heart. You become one with all, then the discovery of the truth becomes easy. Okay? Therefore, therefore the discussion, particularly Vedantic discussion, don't treat it as an individual case. He is pointing out. His pointing out means he is bringing the Vedantic teaching, Vedantic ideas, Vedantic method of teaching. He is bringing it. It is the method that helps me. He is adopting the method and using it in our debate with me. In a debate with me. Therefore, the method is coming from Upanishads, and Upanishads are coming from Ishvara, and the Ishvara is nowhere there, nowhere except in your heart. Okay, in everybody's heart, in everywhere. So the truth is revealing itself. Okay. So Indians have a totally different way of understanding this revelation and all. Then in that case, can we use the word revelation? We don't know. Because revelation is an English word. That English word comes from European context, and in their context it has got some specific meaning which is totally unlike India's meaning. Therefore, even if we use English word, revealing, understanding, all that, we don't have such meanings in Indian languages or in Sanskrit, in Vedanta. Therefore, somebody argued like that, revealing means a revealer is required. One person, individual, God should be an individual alone to be able to reveal. This is what Bible and other books say. God must be individual. For us, God is not an individual. And the truth which we are discussing is a non-individual, it transcends individuality, is a heart of everybody, is a truth of everybody. He is the Atma of everybody. Therefore, it is not an individual discovery. Individual has no role to play. Okay. In fact, he has to transcend individuality to come to that universal truth. Therefore, it is not God as an individual revealing it. If God is an individual, he himself doesn't know the truth. How can he reveal? Because he himself doesn't know the truth. How will he reveal us? But one who reveals is a universal truth himself. He is no individual. He is whole universe. Advitiyam Brahma. Advitiyam Brahma himself reveals. Then nobody has an objection. Nobody has any quarrel. Therefore, I am giving a hint. I am pointing out. You see that the discovery takes place in you. So the credit goes to nobody. The credit goes to the truth. Or if the credit has to go, it goes to all of you and me and everybody. Even disciple gets the credit, Guru gets the credit, Shastra gets the credit. If you think of credit, everybody gets the credit. Or if you say no credit, then it belongs to nobody. The truth is universal of all. No individual can claim any extra special credit. Okay? The credit is universal. Therefore, even if we use the word revelation in English term, we are using it in Indian sense. Apaurusheya, authorless, not authored by anybody. That means it is a natural fact itself, not by a given individual. Okay? Authorless apaurusheya means a statement is just a statement of a fact. Who said it is immaterial. One whose speaker is immaterial because it is not a speaker's view. This is a pen. Who is the authority for this knowledge? That this is a pen is a knowledge I helped you to discover. Now, on whose strength the validity of this knowledge rests? That it is a pen. The validity of this knowledge, that it is a pen, rests on whom? Whose strength? on me or in you, listener, or in a given person, yogi or somebody. The validity of truth doesn't depend upon any person. Even he might be speaking the truth, but the truth doesn't depend upon his speaking. A person speaks the truth, but the truth doesn't become truth because he is speaking. Okay? He is speaking the truth which already existed, the truth. He is speaking the truth which is already existing. So he doesn't create a truth by speaking. By speaking he is not creating the truth. Therefore, no credit goes to him. He is not creating the truth. Okay? Therefore, he is speaking the truth means I am using a sentence to reveal it, but the sentence, I have no freedom to make a sentence as I like it. This is a book. When I say, so who is the authority for this statement that this is a book? Just since I told this is a book, therefore on my strength, on my authority, you have to accept, because this is a book and I told it. You may tell, but the truth of that statement depends upon the very book and not on you. Okay, the truth of the statement depends upon the book. Therefore, the credit goes to the very truth. The truth reveals itself. We are only an instrument. That's all. Therefore, truth reveals itself. It is nobody, no individual can take a credit. Neither God, nor prophet, nor their followers, nor believers, nor anybody. Truth is itself self-shining. Okay? Truth is a proof of truth. That's all. Truth itself is a proof of truth. Therefore, Ishvara manifests. Gurus and Sampradaya, tradition and Shastra, books are all instruments. Okay? If you understand it this way, no quarrel. Therefore, in a debate, particularly on the truth, absolute truth, Vedantic truth, when we are discussing, it is not the two individuals discussing. Okay? It is the universal fact trying to reveal, and there is a universal seeking in the heart of a jiva, a universal seeking it is trying to find out. Just like a hunger and thirst are not man-made. Hunger and thirst are not man-made. Okay? Similarly, the seeking, the hunger for truth, the seeking the truth is not man-made. Have you created the desire for truth? Desire for knowing the truth or seeking the truth? That seeking rises in you, dawns in you by Ishvara's blessing, or it is there naturally in your heart. Therefore, nobody can take credit for it. If you develop a seeking for truth, you are lucky. That's all we can say. Okay. The seeking itself seeks. The seeking is a state of mind itself seeks. And the truth itself manifests. Therefore, all are instruments. So, this way if we take it, in a debate, it is not the two people discussing. It is not two individuals discussing. Two individuals are instrument. Through their discussion, they are revealing, laying bare the truth. Truth itself comes out. Truth itself comes out in the discussion. We just follow the logic. Logic you have not created. You find it on the earth. In the world there is a logic. Have you created the logic which did not exist before? No. True logic is there. Sentences are there. They just reveal and we accept. And when it reveals, we pay attention to them. They reveal and you discover it. Therefore, Yasmat Nayam Pakshaha Prativadi Kapola Kalpitaha. This Paksha, this doctrine, this teaching is not invented, created by this individual. No individual can credit for it. Therefore, my opponent in the debate happens to be an instrument. Through him the truth has come to me. Okay, therefore, Kastarhi Prativadi Kapola Kalpitaha. He is not, this truth or the method of teaching the truth, this no person has created. No debater in the debate, no participant in a debater has created it. He only discovered, he has not created. If I say this is a pen, I have not created the fact. I only discovered the fact. And I only point out, that's all. Because it can be pointed out, because it can be discovered. Okay? Therefore, discovery took place. So, prativadi kalpitaha. A person, my debater, my opponent has not created the truth. Okay? Nobody creates the truth because truth is self-existing. It doesn't depend upon the person who speaks the truth. See, truth doesn't depend upon the person who speaks. Truth is independent of what he speaks. He may tell the lie or he may speak the truth. If he speaks the truth, he will be blessed. If he tells the lie, he will be cursed. Cursed means he will have a disadvantage in it. So the truth itself is not affected. Whether you love it or not, whether you know it or don't know it, truth itself is not affected. Okay? It is our mind that interferes. Human mind. Therefore, Swamiji says, Ayam pariharaha kastarhi. It is not an individual's argument, it is not an individual's mind that is teaching me. The truth is beyond his mind, and it is using the mind to come and express it to me. Therefore, Shrutyanugrihitaha. It is been blessed by the Shruti, favored by, granted by the Shruti. It has been granted by the Shruti, Shrutyanugrihitaha, and also it has been blessed by Shruti, and other acharyas, great people, Mahatmas have also used it. Purvataraischa parigrihitaha. Our earlier acharyas also discovered the same truth. Therefore, it is no individual's making. Therefore, I need not feel defeated, humiliated by the other person, because he is not personally defeating me, nor I am personally defeated. Okay? This is how the idea is, how beautiful it is. Shrutyanugrihito abhiyuktaihi purvataraischa parigrihitayeva ato nastyadvega karanam. Therefore, I need not feel humiliated because it is nobody's. Or you take it as everybody's truth. No given individual can claim any credit. Therefore, don't feel humiliated. Okay, iti manas samadhanam samupajayate. His mind rests in peace. He doesn't feel disturbed, humiliated. Apicha, oh, time is up. I forgot to speak in Sanskrit and have been explaining this thing. Okay, Sankshepena vadami yatavat paryantam yaduktam. Vadante upanyasena. Yada tatvanischayo jataha tada yadi vakyam shruti vakyam atava pramana vakye udahrute sati kim prayojanam tasya yo tasya manasaha udvego jataha parajitanam yo manasi udvego jataha aho ayam anena panditena aham parajitosmi iti manasi yo udvego jayate apamana bhavo jayate sana bhavishyati kim karanam kuto na bhavishyati kuta iti chet tatvam tu shruti pramanashritameva shruti pramanadeva agataha shruti pramanam tu nakasyachit vikteha kalpana नकस्यचित् पुरुष विशेषस्य कल्पना पुरुष बुद्धि कल्पना न भवति उत्प्रेक्षा पुरुष बुद्धि उत्प्रेक्षितो न भवति स्वयं तु सत्यस्य तु स्वयमेव प्रमाणं सत्यस्य तत्त्वस्य सु तत्त्वमेव प्रमाणं वयं च मनुष्याः अस्मत् बुद्धयश्चु परिकरभूतानि साधनभूतान्येव तत्त्वं तु स्वयं सिद्धं स्वयं प्रकाशनरूपम् अतएव मया चिंता न कर्तव्या उद्वेगः न कार्यः अहोहं पराजितः इति चिंता अपमानः नानुभोक्तव्यः नानुभवितव्यः इति मनस्समाधानं मनः प्रसन्नेनैव तिष्ठति अपमानभावो तस्य न जायते इत्येवर्थः अपि च वादिमध्येपि इग नेक्स्ट पॉइंट अपि च मीन्स moreover there is a one point, then I think I am tired, we will discuss next class. Okay, api cha vada madhyepi na sarvata shastra bahishkara. Because regarding the shastra, on this 13th point, some people have raised objection against Sachidananda Swamiji. कैश्चित् आक्षेपः कृतः श्रीचरणैः श्रुतिप्रमाणं गौणीकृतं युक्तिरेव प्रधानमिति युक्तेः प्राधान्यम् आस्थाय श्रुतिप्रमाणं गौणीकृतम् अनुवादकत्वेन प्रस्तूयते श्रीचरणैः इति आक्षेपः क्रियते. Again I spoke in Sanskrit. Okay, let me say the same thing in English. So some people objected, some people complained that Swamiji made Shruti Vakya secondary. In fact, Shruti is a pramanam. He says Swami Sachidananda Swamiji made Shruti Vakyam as a secondary. Secondary means it is only repeating what is already understood. It is restating the truth which is understood otherwise through yukti and anubhava, and Shruti becomes only a secondary. It is only repeating which I already discovered, which I already understood. Therefore, Shruti has no strength at all, no independent validity. He is making Shruti as a secondary. To this complaint, to this objection, we will reply. Swamiji himself replies it. He is not making that. Shruti Vakya is not a gauna. Shruti Vakya is main. But if it is main, why not we quote it? See, there is a reason for it. We'll discuss these things in the next class. Okay? Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om Tat Sat.